Yeah, so it took a full 48 hours before my milk even started to do anything. The nurses did a hand pump. I begged my mother-in-law to bring me my actual breast pump, and the minute that I put that on, then my milk started to flow. When they finally checked me out of the hospital, my nurse told Chris that this is going to be her worst day that she's had as postpartum, because it's when the hormones fluctuate back into the body. And she was not lying. I was emotional, from like being calm to going to irritated to crying to going irate to back to calm. Like, it was a constant, like I had this beautiful baby, and then all of a sudden I'm angry, and then all of a sudden I'm crying, and then I'm happy. So she wasn't lying. But after, like, we get home, we get settled, the next day I became like more myself. But those hormones are...
That's crazy. I didn't know that about having a C-section. I guess like that's something my doctor hasn't even shared or told me, and because that's a possibility for me, is to have a C-section. I mean, and by possibility I mean it's like 90% right now at this point. So that's something I need to ask my doctor tomorrow about. So thanks for sharing all of that. Your birth story sounds extremely traumatic. It makes sense on why you would only want to have one kid, other than your other reasons. Yeah. But that alone, standing alone, is so traumatizing.
But it could have been a lot worse. Like, that's what I always tell myself. Like, it could have been a whole lot worse. And I always like laugh because I was never supposed to have children, because I only have one ovary. So I'm like, and I got pregnant very, very easy, which it takes some women struggle with that. I had an easy pregnancy up to the very end. So this was all my, like, it was like your moment to, like, this is your hard time. Here you go. Buckle up, because...
Yeah, that makes sense.
So for people that might not know these things, I know I actually don't know what preeclampsia is. So can you give us a definition of preeclampsia, and then the
pitocin?
Yes, pitocin. Thank you. Pitocin, so that those of us that don't know can be informed.
So preeclampsia is basically where your blood pressure goes up, like off the charts. It doesn't regulate anymore, and you get swollen. It puts a lot of pressure on your other organs inside of you. It does not affect, well, not to my knowledge, I don't know, I'm not a medical doctor, but from what I was told, it does not affect the baby. It just affects the mother's, her organs and her blood pressure, which your blood pressure is very...
Is that something that you found out you had before giving birth, or you didn't find that out until you were in the hospital giving birth?
I did not find that out until Friday when we went to the emergency room, that they took my year. So that Tuesday, the week of February 19th, whatever, that Tuesday was my weekly appointment, and my labs came back okay. So somewhere between Tuesday evening, Wednesday to Friday night, I developed preeclampsia. I believe I had it all along for a while, because I was gaining a lot of water weight. I was swelling a lot. It's hard also because I am only 5'2". My ribs are, my hips are here. Like, I don't know if it was pregnancy, or if it was preeclampsia, or if it's just the way my body was. But like, it's normal that I'm this swollen. I'm pregnant. I'm carrying a human, versus no, you actually have a condition that's causing this.
But yeah, I didn't know that that's something that could come on at the end.
I put a lot of my faith in my doctor, which I love my doctor, but maybe if I would have been more like, let me do a little more research on my own, it could have been different. But my labs are always coming back.
But maybe not. I mean, I feel like I've over-researched stuff, and my doctor's like, I'm not going to answer those questions. She's just like, it's too much. Just stop Googling. Because I'm like, I think I have this, or, whatever. So maybe sometimes it's better to just not know. But, the pitocin, yes, we didn't explain that. Okay. Go ahead and explain that real quick.
It's just like a drip line IV that helps you start contraction more, so you dilate. Mm-hmm. Looking back, I would have dilated, but I had built up scar tissue from having some things removed. And so looking back, it was like I had a lot of scar tissue. So with the scar tissue, was making me not dilate. Does that make sense? So like pitocin kind of kicks it off. Here we go. It's a chemical that's what naturally should happen. It's a chemical that's forcing what should naturally happen.
Yeah. So that's what basically they're saying on the 17th when we go into labor. If we happen to randomly, miraculously not have a C-section, that's what they would do, is they would induce me with pitocin. And then potentially she said she would want to have it that day, and so she'd break my water. But again, that's probably not our plan at this point. But yeah.
Scheduled C-section goes completely different than an emergency C-section. And they give you different drugs, I think. Like they give you just a spinal block instead of alone. So I think it's a little bit smoother than an emergency C-section.
Yeah, they give you a spinal, and I think that the doctor was saying, she said in very, very rare cases, if the spinal doesn't take, then they put you out. But she's like, that just like rarely happens.
Yeah, and chorea, what I had is like happens to less than 2% of women. I'm like, of course,
what is it called?
Choreo? That's like the short term of it. And I'm like, of course, something weird like that's going to happen to me.
You know, we all three had strep B, which is, it's funny because it's rare, yet here are three of us talking about it.
It's not that rare though, because 1 in 4 women have it, and it's really common in pregnancy. At least that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard it's very common, that it's just, my doctor told me, just treat it. You don't even have to worry about it. We'll take care of it. It's not for you to worry about. Because I was panicking, like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like, oh God, what else?
I know. And then when I told Isaac about it, he was like, what's that?
Yeah,
and then
he's like, can I get it?
Yeah, and my doctor's like, you don't even worry about it. Like, it's for me to care about. You don't.
Yes.
Because I know I got a shot in, I think, my second trimester or third trimester, and then they give you another shot on the next, like after you have your baby, right, Kels?
I had an IV of antibiotics going through, but like I said, I literally, like if you would have seen this arm, I had IVs here, a cuff here, shots. Like for the first 48 hours, it was constant nurse. I was never by myself, so I can't exactly tell you because I was constantly getting medicine, getting shots, getting this done. Like I would have to go back and look and see exactly what, because it was. Like,
yeah, my doctor said that, she said you only get it during labor. So she said if you go in for a C-section, they give it to you prior to the C-section. And if you give a vaginal birth, they give it to you in an IV during the birth.
Yeah, so that's what I had. It started was a dripper because I thought I was holding out to have her vaginally.
Okay. Actually, I feel like I might be making something up. Maybe I actually didn't have this because I think it was a blood type. So I have O negative and Levi's O positive. So something happened where his antibodies could potentially get me sick, or I could get another. We're gonna have to talk about this on a different episode. I feel like I didn't really have strep B.
No,
but I don't remember.
I know what you're talking about, where the mother has a certain blood type and the baby, and they can't mix.
Yes, and so I had to get a shot in my pregnancy and then a shot right after, and then it came back to where my shot didn't work, which is the rare thing that I'm thinking of. And I'll research it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about that in another episode because I want to actually know about that. But I want to know about it when you actually know what you're talking about.
Me too. I want to know what I'm talking about. Stool softeners every 4 hours, I think, or you get them twice. I don't remember. It's all kind of a blur, but you have so many stool softeners in your system. And because I had a vaginal delivery and I was like, nothing else needs to happen in that area for at least a couple of weeks, like I don't need to poop. I'm fine not pooping. I'll be okay with it. And then it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I thought like I was ready for it to hurt so bad, but it was okay.
Lindsey,
thank God.
Like empty womb syndrome? Like, I don't even know if that's a word, but I remember like taking baths after.
Wait, what did you call it? Empty what?
Like an empty womb, like where I remember taking baths and sobbing at my empty stomach, even though I knew she was right there. She's right there watching me take a bath, but I grieved over not carrying her anymore. Like
I felt that, but it wasn't right away. Mine wasn't right away. It happened a little bit after, just because you're so used at that point, like your hands are constantly on your stomach. You're constantly wondering if it's going to hit something. So you're very aware of the fact that you're carrying a child, and then they're not in there and you carried them for 9, almost 10 months. And all of a sudden they're just,
your stomach went down, my stomach still stayed. Like it looked like I could still be carrying a tiny human. And so that was the thing too. Like, look, no, she's right there. But...
Wait, no, there she is.
Right there.
How old is Sailor right now?
She's 3.
What was the transition like from newborn baby stage into 3-year-old?
So I absolutely loved newborn stage. I was built for that. I would say 18 months to 21, 22 months was the hardest. Absolutely the hardest. There's a lot of changes happening in our personal lives. We were moving, we moved out of the house, we brought her home, moved into a rent house, built a house. There was just a lot of transitionings happening in our lives, which I don't know if that was hard or just the stage she was in. And she wasn't talking, so we had to go to speech therapy. We went to hearing, like, to get her hearing test. Like, there was just a lot of transitions that were happening there in that time. 2 is nothing compared to 3. Terrible 2, somebody needs to take that phrase and just get rid of it, because there's no such thing as terrible 2s. 3 is a whole different ballgame. I struggle every single day reminding myself that she's her own person. She has to be her own self. I can't make her, like, my vision for her, I can't put that on her. And so I struggle myself of, like, allowing her to be who she is and learning through play and developing her own personality, because I'm very OCD, I'm very organized. She's organized, but messy organized. And she's developing a little bit of a personality that's bigger than her britches. 2 is easy breezy, they're fun. 3 is harder because I think they are more knowledgeable. They think they can do anything and everything they want to do. She definitely is a copycat, so she'll see me do something and wants to do it, which we try to let her learn and do things to a certain degree.
So it sounds like we have 3s to look forward to.
3s are
sarcastically.
Yeah.
So it's no longer the terrible 2s. We need to take that phrase out. We need to tell someone to stop using that.
Stop using that, because terrible 2s, I love 2s. 2s was fun. 3s is hard.
What's your favorite part about being a mom? Like right at this very moment.
It's not. I mean, you have, like, this little tiny human that you're learning to see the world through their eyes, and what's not to love? It's hard, but it's challenging. It's the greatest thing I've ever done, and I know people say that all the time, but it really is the greatest thing I've ever done. I don't know. She makes us laugh all the time. She pushes me to be a better human being, because there's times where I'll get frustrated, and then I realize, like, she's 3. She's little. Calm down. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. So she's pushing me to be better.
Yeah.
But just to know, like, I created that. Like, it's part of me out there. But she's got my DNA.
Aw, I'm gonna cry.
Oh God, I'm getting excited. We only have like 7 days left.
So
Oh my gosh, can we end on a really funny note today? Because yesterday when you guys were over here, Kels told me a really funny story can you please tell the story about when you guys were on your way to our house and what you tell Sailor medical terminology and stuff?
So she's very curious about who has penises in the world, who has vaginas in the world. And she knows that she has a vagina, she knows I have a vagina, she knows Daddy has a penis. But she asked, she said, so where are we going again? We told her we were going over to Lindsey and Jacob. We're going to see Levi. And then she said, well, does he have a penis? Yes, he has a penis. And then she says, everybody has buttholes. Everybody has buttholes. Yes. So she knows everybody has buttholes. But when she farts, she calls it fire butt. So she'll come into us and say, I have fire butt. And she's farting. And so now, like, our household joke is when anybody has gas, we're like, oh, we got fire butt.
That is hilarious.
Oh my god.
She'll go up to people and just
I'm
look
like,
at them. They got a penis? I'm like, yes, they might have a penis. I don't.
You don't know how they identify at this point in time. However, they could have one. Kels, thanks so much for letting us hear your birth story and for telling us what we have to look forward to with a 3-year-old. And we love you, and thanks for talking to us again. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.